Hey guys, Lex here from the Livestream. I'm joined by Force
Hello.
and Tets.
Hello.
We're going to do another trailer analysis. We're just going to go through this slowly and talk about whatever comes up as we go along. So we open from a side view of Aerith, and this is the opening of the original game from a different angle, but she is now holding a flower. Does she do this in the original? Can we remember?
No,
No,
she
I don't
doesn't.
think so. She's just walking.
Because in the original, you open on the pipe, which we saw in the last trailer, the 1 minute long trailer.
Right.
And then from there, in the original, she walks toward the camera, gets up and walks toward the camera. But this is kind of reminiscent of the way that she stands up in the original, isn't it?
Yeah, although I think she's still kneeling here. Because, yeah, the camera just pulls away from her while she's walking out in the original. This one, she, looks up at the camera. It's actually a little bit like the ending of Crisis Core when she looks up.
Yes, yes.
Can I just say I really like the warm colors in this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
amazing how much the colours pop. And one of the things I've noticed as well is that some of the other trailer comparisons, because there's obviously quite a lot of trailer comparisons that have come out on YouTube right now. And one of them is that, IGN E3, what is it, 2005 PS3 demo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks so colorless. It's not.
It's so
There's
gray.
nothing in it.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing how bad it looks for how excited we were.
But look how green her eyes are here. Like that's insane.
I know,
Yeah.
amazing. And I also like I've noticed on the back of her neck and on her top of her head here, it's a different light because I guess there's a theater sign behind her.
Hmm.
And it pulses in and out because I guess something's changing on the sign. But that's just a ridiculous piece of detail.
Yeah, the lighting is looking absolutely fantastic. Her eyes are so green. The red of her jacket is really prominent. The pink of her bow is really prominent. Like it looks great.
Yeah, they're really getting the color palette of the original.
And you can even see the reflection in her eyes. Like
Oh, yeah.
the color pop in there. It's amazing. Obviously, her hair is amazing. We could go on and on about her hair. Even comparing that to the PS3
Right.
tech
Yeah,
demo.
because this is clearly a pre-rendered scene as opposed to probably most of the other things in this trailer.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. So this is the shot that's very reminiscent of Crisis Core ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is
I
the.
don't know that that's an intentional call out. It just looks like it.
It does look like it. It may well be. Is she still kneeling here? She is.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's dropped a flower. She's
Yeah,
bent down to pick it up.
Right. It's it's a very Japanese way of sitting, but on the sidewalk.
Just randomly in the streets, people just walking past. All these bland NPCs are just like, oh, look at that really pretty flower lady just on the ground.
This is the part I was really looking forward to in our analysis of slowly going through this pan out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I had goosebumps the entire time this camera was pulling out.
Oh yeah, for sure. The music.
Yeah, this shot is amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's so much longer than the pan out in the original too.
Yeah.
It is. How faithful is this sign?
Yeah,
It's mad how faithful that is, I think.
and I
And
love
at the
the
same
old.
time, it's also interesting that they actually changed this from like a T intersection to just like the road just goes around the corner
Oh
instead.
yeah, interesting.
That's
And I
something I
love
didn't clock actually, because yeah,
I-
that's right in the original.
And I like the old truck, that like 40s ish truck.
Yeah, that weird blend. We've seen similar trucks to that in the last trailer, didn't we?
Yeah, it was in the background, right? It was parked.
Yeah.
Right. It just and just still capturing the anachronistic technology, like all the power wires overhead.
Yeah.
Your UK phone style phone booths.
Yeah,
I love those, by the way.
Yeah, but do you know, I think it's a bit of a random addition. It's like they've got
Yeah.
these two red, very British phone boxes sitting there. I mean, I'm happy with that. It's pretty cool, but it's like
It really does add to like the color palette, just having this bright red there.
agreed. It fits the style, which is bizarre because the style is so eclectic to begin with.
Hmm.
That you've got this extra thing that would look out of place anywhere else, but somehow just fits in so well. Continuing the pan out shot, and I actually haven't looked at this slowly yet, so I'm quite excited to do this.
Right. Yeah. Same.
It's also interesting that they have like these overhead lines there. Like at first I thought maybe they've got a tram going or something, but there's no
Right.
tracks on the street, so I
Yeah,
guess Midgard has trolley buses or something like that.
yeah,
Kind of like
Yeah.
that.
And you'd think it'd be easy to have quote underground power lines given that they built the underground on the plate, but I guess
Right.
not.
Is Studio White of any significance?
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Studio White.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
Case of Lifestream White.
The girl on the Loveless poster looks different yet again.
Is that still Aya from Parasite Eve?
Yeah, I know it was in the announcement trailer.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's her.
And there's a
It's
date
definitely
on there.
different now.
Because then in Dirge of Cerberus, it looks like Tifa.
Opens 25th of June at 6 p.m. I wonder if that's meaningful in some way. Well, you can actually read the text that's on that billboard. Station Edge Building, East Station Edge Head Office, Hotel Edge Southern Tower, South
How many times can they
Edge.
say Edge?
All right, panning out further. And the cars are moving.
Yep, I know we get our Crisis Core reference here.
Oh yeah, there's the
In the
Benora
upper right, the dumb apple.
billboard.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So you get your Benora apple here, air something there. People have mixed feelings about that, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that sort of reference. I mean, heck, they were in FF15, the Benora White billboards.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing is, the compilation exists now.
Right.
Modeoheim is apparently a village that used to exist, so why not reference it?
I love the architecture on the buildings.
Yeah, so this is something that's like, was this built by the Shinra? It must have been because the plates were built by Shinra and this is the upper plate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But these buildings look like, 16th century kind of Gothic style.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thought. I guess Shinra wanted to maybe emulate what the towns looked like before. I don't know.
Potentially. I'm hoping we get a bit of lore around that. That would be nice.
I've never actually thought about that. That like the Shinra HQ is like so hyper modern, but everything else is like kind of old timey, and it's like, well, Shinra must have built all of these things, so why is it so different?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these buildings are very like, some of them are quite Georgian looking, some of them are, it's that Gothic style from the 16th, 17th century. I like there's a moment in the original game where Jesse on the train says nobody remembers the names of the towns.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just sector numbers now or something to that effect, alluding to the fact that there did used to be settlements here until the Shinra took over and built on top of it.
Right, presumably because there was a lot of Mako around.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but given this is in the upper plate, these buildings must be new. They must have been built on top of the plate.
Right.
Also, significant change. We don't actually go underneath the arch of this building, but instead we pass over it.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that. So in the original you come through here.
And this like palatial building, it looks like Versailles. What?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I was thinking maybe a train terminal, like a really fancy. I don't know how close we are to the station here.
It very much looks like that, because that could be like a central station clock kind of thing.
Right. And you can see the highways now, which you couldn't before.
Finally.
The highways that are talked about in the original game, but you cannot see.
That always bugged me, like even when they did like more detailed depictions of Midgard and like Advent Children, Crisis Core and all that, you never see the highways. Like there's obviously they have to be there. Like there's one that should go right past Shinra HQ because that's how you escape, right? But you never see it. And here they finally added it.
And there's actually cars driving on it as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
exit signs and stuff.
Mhm.
Like the detail in this zoom out shot is like we could probably just make like a 2-hour video just of that.
I'd love to know how long it took them to make this shot, this pan out.
And how
Yeah.
how long ago they made it, if Cloud's design's been changed.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if they had all these assets just sitting there to replace Cloud.
Yeah, and like in the original when you pass underneath that arch, I always kind of thought that it's probably kind of like, a little bit of trickery because you start on like the street level and you get all that, to scale detail.
Yes.
And once you go underneath that arch, it's like that building basically covers up the street because you kind of have it like transition to a more miniature model style 3D model of the city. So I feel like, in this case, we go over the arch instead. Like, so there's no transition. It's just like, it's all detail all the time. So
Absolutely,
it's like,
yeah.
it's a great shot. I love it so much.
That's a really good observation. I guess it's what you get from a photographer.
So we've got our highways, we've got a billboard in the distance here, I don't know what that says. We've got some tall buildings.
Right, but how high the wall edge of Midgar is.
Exactly, that is like so impressive to me.
I actually did count some of the floors of these high-rise buildings. Like, the highest of them are like a little over 20 floors, and I feel like that's very important when we get to the Shinra HQ, which is supposed to be 70.
Yes.
But it's clearly way taller than that.
Well,
Right, well, I guess that's just the top bit, the 70 floors.
I don't know about that. We'll get there though, because we do see it in the
Okay.
pan out shot. So we can see our first reactor here up at the top right. We've got our
Yeah, absolutely huge.
reactor number 1, which finally really, like in the original, the reactors were just kind of nubs that were on the edge of, you've got your pizza crust and you've got your joinery part, which was like the reactor, but it was just, this is so big compared to like what they looked like in the original.
I just wanted to point out, like, the train tracks we can see, like, at the bottom. I assume that is, like, the spot where you jump on the train when Cloud escapes later on.
You are totally right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
just kind of so cool that you can basically map out, like, the path that you walk from, like, the Maka reactor to that, plaza with lavalas and the fountain, and then all the way to the train tracks. Like, you can just see, like, all the streets and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. But yeah, seeing the reactor that big is just making me think of what the scene will look like when it explodes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's going to be massive.
That's something, eh? Nobody's seen that yet, because in the closed demo that they held, they didn't show anybody that, even the press. They stopped at the end of the Guard Scorpion fight. Sorry, Scorpion Sentinel.
Right.
You have to get used to that.
22 years of saying Guard Scorpion, I don't know how easy it's going to be.
So there's one building taller than the wall.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
So is this the one you counted, Tets? One,
I
two.
think it may be.
Yeah, it looks about 20, I'm not gonna. Continue the zoom out. And how high the pollution goes as well, the Mako. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And look how much more industrial Sector 1 looks than Sector 8.
Yeah.
It looks like refineries and stuff.
It does. It does, and I love that detail. I love that because they do mention in the original game and some of the extra stuff that each sector kind of has a purpose, but they don't ever go into any detail about that. They probably don't know themselves. Just suit the plot.
There was like a tiny glimpse of like the pillar underneath the plate. If you go back a little bit, you can actually kind of see like underneath it.
Yeah,
right there.
The gap between the plate and there's a
Yeah,
pillar.
the gap between the plates is, I guess it's because, they made the reactor so big. I'm surprised how far apart the plates are from each other.
Exactly, yeah. That's something I was thinking about as well, because the gaps are huge. And I'd never really thought about them having a gap before, but it's really cool that they do.
Right. So I guess that's where what light there is in the slums will come from.
Yeah, I mean, did we know that they had a gap? Because it's not something that I'd ever thought about.
Definitely.
I mean,
that was definitely a thing.
I knew there were moments where you could like see beneath the plate.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the cutscene when Sector 7 drops. I don't know that there's an angle that like totally shows the gap. I think it more side on when it shows you fall.
It's really cool to see it in this level of detail for sure. So we have some scaffolding here on this huge pipe, which goes up
I know. What is moving in those pipes? I guess Mako, but that's a lot.
Part of
I
me,
do like that there's actually like that structure on top of that, because from this perspective, it's like if we just see the pipe, like that could be like a smaller pipe, like we're just like really close to it, like just a perspective, like you can't really get a feel for how big it is, but because there's like all this scaffolding, you can see the walkways and the lights. You kind of realize, it just kind of gives you that scale.
Yeah,
That you can see like it's massive.
absolutely. It's
What are
colossal.
they even doing up there?
And the like detail of all of these buildings as well on the left.
Yeah. I do wonder whether that's going to be like an open world type of thing in the end, or
For one sector.
Yeah.
or maybe for more of them. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. And this is some scaffolding over here as well, I think, at the end of this industrial arm.
Yeah, I think this is one of these weird like platforms that extend out from the HQ. Like there's several of them.
So I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure if I picked up on this before, but are you guys noticing like the distortion in the screen around here?
Yeah, it's passing through the smoke or
Yeah,
heat.
passing through the pollution, I guess.
I did always wonder, is Mako just like venting underneath the Shinra building all the time? Is that what? Or I guess that's what Mako Reactor Zero is giving off. But did Zero exist in the original game?
I don't think it did. I think
No,
there was like
I
a
don't think it
Dirge
did.
of Cerberus thing.
Yeah.
Also, what we can see like into the windows on the left. That's kind of nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's some detail in there, but it's difficult to make out.
Now all the rooftop walkways and everything.
Yeah. What's this? Air conditioning units? I don't know.
Probably.
I think this is probably a good time to talk about the outer plate as well, because you can see that they're constructing beyond the wall.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it looks like mostly industrial stuff, or at least stuff that's under construction.
Yeah, to me it seems like all of these are still like under construction. There's nothing actually there for people to live on or anything.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
it's like a city that's constantly
Yeah, it makes you
built
wonder
on
what
and
the,
built
like what
on.
like what was Shinra's plan before the whole Neo Midgard? Like how big did they think this would get?
Another plate level.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the front of the Shinra building now. This part of the building does exist in the original, but it just looks like a cylinder.
Right.
Yeah, what is it?
It doesn't, but you can see there's kind of this. Maybe that's like a bay for something. It looks like it's open.
There's like a crane sticking out to the right of the pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, helicopter bay that they then put a giant pipe in the way of.
Yeah, this was the previous helicopter bay and they built on top of it. Put the rest
Yeah.
of the building in.
Seems like a dangerous landing approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to get the view of the Shinra building now.
Sector 8 reactor's not running currently, or at least not venting currently.
Is that like the elevator shafts like in between the top part and the cylinder?
Yeah, so this was. I'll zoom out and get full
Yeah, the whole
full
building.
view of the building, because that's what we need in our lives, isn't it? Okay. Oh, go away, helicopter.
Just look how massive the Shinra HQ is. That's ridiculous.
It is
That's like a
huge.
city in itself.
Right. And yeah, I guess
It's
you're
actually-
right. That's not that top bit. That's just 70 floors. Maybe that's the secret floors, I guess.
I think the top bit is going to be the explodable floors that you
Mhm.
explore in the original. So that's like what 60 to 70, and obviously you'll come in like the first 3 floors we've actually seen, or we will see later in this trailer.
Uh-huh.
But this looks to me like the top. It's like the top 10 floors, and this will be
Gotcha.
the Prez's office. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
To the right, you can see like I think that's the helicopter
Yes.
landing pad.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't looked at it. I had not looked at it until you said it, but that is absolutely. This is the president's office, I think, and then
Yeah.
this is like this part where the mouse
Where
is
you
currently
fight
hovering
Rufus.
is where you fight
Yeah.
Rufus. 100%. It's too similar to not be, because you can see there's a walkway around it and stuff.
All the windows shattering when they fire the sister ray is going to be cool.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In game 3 in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for that. It's gonna be a hot minute until then.
Super exciting though. I'm looking around to see if we can see any other like detail, like moment from the game or area from the game, like in this massive
I
pan
feel
out
like
shot.
I feel like the amount of detail here is just overwhelming.
It is.
Like
It's amazing.
just look at this. I kind of like that in Sector 7, it seems kind of like that might be sort of like a business district. There's like a lot of high-rise buildings and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Sector 2 also looks, or no, that's still Sector 1. Yeah, so Sector 2 also looks pretty industrial. Big highway going right to the wall. I don't know if that'll be the highway.
Also, it seems like there's actually like a couple lights like beyond Midgar, like in the wastelands. It seems like there's like roads.
Yeah.
Do you see those lights?
Yeah, do you see them? I wonder if that's just particles from the... No, I think they are static. Like, they're definitely out there. Could be roads.
Interesting. Yeah. A part 2 question.
Right. To be answered in 2023, approximately. But yeah, it does seem like the first like 3 or 4 sectors are all like industrial and stuff.
It definitely looks that way.
And then Sector 6, we think, is still under construction entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still just see, it's just like a bare bones thing.
Yeah, so this was the case in the original game, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, this was the one that was like, it was kind of broken. On the Shinra building, you're on floor 65 or 66 and you're inserting the Midgar parts. Because I used to get that confused with Sector 7.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people getting confused about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the original FFV, it's dark, but you can't see details, obviously.
Right.
So
it's dark, and there's like a lot of PS1 CD compression going on. It's like it's hard to make out the details.
But yeah, so even down at the bottom, there's lights. That looks residential. So I guess sectors 1 to 4 are industrial, and 5 to 8 are residential.
Looks like it.
I think you're definitely right. There's some residential parts here. It looks like they at least looks like they're definitely buildings with lights on rather than just like refineries and stuff.
Right, and it looks like there's some industry in Sector 5 down in the bottom left there. It's yellow cranes or something.
Oh man, the lore. I'm gonna have a lore-gasm. Just thinking about all the stuff that could come from this is insane. How far out can we get? Oh, there we go. Jump.
Yeah. And what are those giant spotlights for? That just not these ones going into the sky, the ones that aim straight out.
I've always wondered about that too.
Just to blind people with houses that face that way.
Yeah, imagine living in this sector at the bottom and just like that was your whole life.
I remember in like the E3 reveal trailer, it almost looked like there's a shot where it looks like it's almost like these lights are directly, in front of the residential district.
Yeah.
I mean, here you can see like, okay, there's a little bit of distance between like the actual plate and these lights, but yeah, in the reveal trailer, it looked like you would get, like cooked by that.
So, cut to.
All right.
Iconic shot.
Now the actual game.
Yeah, the actual game. We're off the train. We've walked through the station. It's that moment where it says, press the cancel button to run.
Right. And then it did this little sweep down to hide a loading time in the original, I believe.
Yeah. And from what I've heard, they employ very similar techniques here in this game. And that's one of the most exciting things I've heard about this so far, is that in the press demo, there's no loading. They transition from gameplay to cutscene, and the cutscenes hide the loading. And it's all very like interactive, and the music moves in a similar way.
Yes, it is.
Very much.
We see the materia, we see the back of cloud, and we see this shot, which is just amazing.
Such a good callback.
I love this moment in the original, and to see it remade like this is such a moment.
Right. I wonder if his one materia will be fire. I know it was in the gameplay demo.
I'm deeply upset it doesn't have bolt on ice. I have to put that out there.
Right.
Just got to be said.
Well, it looks like Barrett also has one, and I guess it was thunder in the gameplay demo.
I suppose we don't know what will happen in the end.
Mm-hmm.
What does the kanji mean that's on the reactor?
It's not 1. I've always found that strange, because like the Sector 8 reactor, it's the kanji for 8. But this one, I don't know, unless it's some sort of old archaic symbol for 1. I don't know.
Interesting.
To get Hito in here.
Okay, so we cut again to Heidegger, and we're doing a slow pan. I'm
It's an
assuming...
unexpected
tiny
reveal
glimpse of that office.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
With the palm trees, or the ferns, or whatever they are.
They're being very coy, but the president is in his chair, so we're in his office. and we see a glimpse of it. We do have at least official artwork for that, so we can get a bit of a taste for what it's going to look like.
Yeah, it's one of the more different of the artworks, but I think it looks great. I like the idea of him having plants in his office when they say plants won't grow in Midgar.
Yeah.
So he's having plants shipped in.
Diabolical.
Or maybe they're plastic. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
And moving on to motorbike. So
Yep.
they're in the train tunnels, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen some theories that this is the escape from the first reactor mission,
Yeah, that's my assumption here.
and it looks like they might be putting motorbikes in.
Yeah, the only other place I don't think it would. The only other place I would be is if after they jumped off the train, but then where would they get the bikes? So, and Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse stay on the train in the original.
Yes. But I'm really excited about the fact that we're going to get some crazy motorcycle gameplay.
Yeah, and I guess instead of a mini game, it'll just kind of be like, well, I guess it's a little different, but part of the normal battle system.
It's quite faithful to the original as well, though, even like the animation of the way he's swinging his sword from side to side, and I think it's cool as well. You get Jesse riding with Cloud, and you get Biggs and Wedge together on the other
The
bike.
first time around, I didn't even notice them.
Really?
Yeah, I just kind of like, I just saw Cloud and Jesse, and I was like, okay, you know, now, like after the second, third time, whatever, it's like then I noticed, okay, the other two are also there.
And we don't know where the rest of the party is at this point, so that's interesting. Maybe they're in the truck.
You'd think it would be hard for Barrett to ride a motorcycle with one hand.
Kind of like that they have like dirt bikes or whatever you might call them, you know, like
Yeah.
smaller bikes.
Quads.
It's like, you know, saving up the Hardy Daytona like for the end, you know, like the iconic motorcycle.
Yeah, you need to like level up the bike, the coolness factor. So you start on like a scooter, and then you're allowed a shot of a moped, and then maybe a Segway.
I like
Right.
I like the Shinra Troopers bikes though. They look very much like those, you know, the Mako powered cars
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
they do.
Shinra building. They're all bulky.
Yeah, with the bulky
Also
green.
slightly reminiscent of the Remnants bikes from Advent Children, just a little bit.
They are.
Mm,
I
yeah.
thought that too when I saw them. You can actually see that it says Shinra in words, and then there's a logo
Oh yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this dude is just throwing a grenade or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which seems an odd strategy on a motorcycle chase, but whatever.
Right.
Big's about to execute this guy.
Oh yeah. All right, moving on. Level of detail is astounding.
Ridiculous.
It's so pretty. All right, so Materia.
Yep, huge. So they clearly just fit whatever slot you put them in.
I'm happy with that, to be honest. I quite like
Yeah,
that.
me too.
It kind of makes sense. Like if it was like a tiny like marble sized materia, I think in the cutscene it would probably look a little bit ridiculous.
And it would be hard to see to like pick up.
Right.
You know, when there's materia just lying on the ground.
Yeah, I like that that's probably its natural size, and then it fits in Materia slots. I think that's kind of cool. Cloud, in that moment, looks like he's looking over her shoulder,
Yeah.
which is
True.
a bit random. And then he looks at the Materia, he's like, ooh, Materia.
Shiny.
And she says for saving her life here, either when her leg gets stuck or something new.
So there's some destruction going on here, as you can see. This would be after the first reactor mission, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Or during. Don't know what these signs say. I can't read them.
Right. I mean, it looks like that's where he's running after this scene, but
Yeah. Where are they here? And do we think this is the restore Materia? Important points to make.
yeah, I assume it was restore, but I don't know.
Obviously, there's no way to say. And cut to a gameplay shot from behind of Cloud. So, again, after the first reactor
fire in
mission.
that building.
Right.
Yeah. Just running through the destruction. And then here we're on Loveless Avenue. You can
There's
actually,
Aerith in the back.
yeah, you can see her here.
Yep.
What about the restaurant?
Oh, just so that you see the little menu sign on the street.
The detail. And you've got these red phone boxes, so we can actually orient ourselves from the CG intro and say, obviously we know we're on Loveless Avenue anyway. But this is the alleyway on the right that Aerith actually came out of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's UK phone booths, but US postal box.
Good point. Hadn't noticed.
Also, because of the street that you're now running down, like I guess they added like a lot of additional like an additional area between this and the reactor, because in the original game, like the destruction actually affected this part of the city, and there was like rubble there and everything, and here everything looks fine.
Yeah.
So it's like further away now.
These NPCs are looking like toward what I assume is some commotion.
I love the inside of the train cars.
Yeah. So we'll move on to this part. So they're in the train. So we can assume that they've jumped to the start of the second reactor bombing mission. Are we agreed? Or potentially on the way back from the first?
Yeah, could be either of those.
Yeah, there's no real way to
I
say.
think it might be on the way back, probably.
Yeah. And then we've got our Benora apples again.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And I know in the screenshot they released of this, Wedge is actually to your left. Whether the screenshot's from a second before this or it's different.
Ah. We can't see him here. I think this was the point of the trailer where they were like, look, you can speak to people.
But with triangle, it's different.
Yeah. Okay, so I noticed that what does he do? He pulls away some webbing, and we know the webbing is from those enemies that we saw in the other trailer.
The grass strikes or whatever they're called.
Yeah. So he pulls away some webbing. I wonder if that's like
so,
a contextual input.
So presumably this would be the second bombing mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wonder if you can like swing his sword at them, because we know from like the press demos and people who played the demo at E3 that you can press square at any point and just swing Cloud Sword. You can break crates and stuff. So
yeah, and they said you picked up loot and stuff, and I was like, "What kind of loot?"
Yes.
No one really said.
Well, a lot of people are asked like, "What do the treasure boxes look like?" And people just kind of responded, "They looked like how you would expect them to look." If you're an FF7 fan, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. I think there's one of the on that wall of concept art from E3. I think one of them is of a treasure box.
Ah, right.
It's got a Shinra logo on front of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I wonder if you can like, this looks like it was a contextual input. You've pressed the button and Cloud has grabbed some of this weapon to get rid of it. But I wonder if you can just swing a sword and get rid of it. I hope you can. And then
I don't know where this is. The underside of the plate, I guess.
Looks like it.
Do you know something?
On the left you can see like down towards the slums, maybe. Kind of looks like And
it's windy wherever they are.
So he stumbles here, and I don't know why. I know that I'm wrong now, but when I first watched this, and on subsequent viewings didn't correct it, I thought this was the top of a train for some reason.
Yeah, I thought the same.
Obviously, it's not.
Right.
But there is a rumbling here. This could just be the second reactor bombing mission.
Yeah, I guess one of the areas on your way to the reactor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would make sense to me if that's what this was. But it's tough to say. He's definitely a great height. Because you can see what Tets was talking about, like way down. Cut to Jesse. Looking great as usual.
Mm-hmm. Having their discussion on the top of the train car. Waiting for... Or not, I guess not the top of the... When I was a kid, I thought they were on top of the train car because they kind of jump down when they leave. But I guess it's just a cargo car.
I never realized that it doesn't actually make sense to have like a freight car when it's actually a passenger train.
Can you not get trains that are like a mix of both though? Where you've got
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't usually see it, but I guess you could.
In fairness, I've never seen it either, but I'm going by things like Uncharted in video game world. I think it's an accepted thing. I don't know.
I do assume that this might be like in one of these freight cars. It might be where bikes might be stowed, and maybe that's where they steal like the motorcycles.
Ah, I like that theory.
Yeah.
Can imagine they were just driving the cycles like straight out of the train and
Yeah.
into the tunnel.
I definitely like that theory. That's cool. His face looks different here, I thought, from the previous trailer.
Hmm.
I'm sure it's
Maybe.
not. It's maybe just the lighting, but it looks like so much more defined. Like his cheeks are a bit more hollow. You can see Materia and Barrett's gun arm very clearly.
Yeah.
And then we get the infamous somersault or undersault or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't completely flip now, but still.
It's too bad. I like that, unnecessary flip. Just showing off.
It's a busted sword now. Alright, so cut to our Scorpion Sentinel fight. Somebody corrected me in the last video about about this, so shout out to you. I'm sorry I don't remember your name. I'll maybe look it up. For saying this is Matra Magic. How could you not recognize Matra Magic? Which is fair, but to me they're just rockets, which I suppose is what
Right.
Matra Magic is. So what did you guys think about the gameplay? Like from the... I mean, we were all there reacting together. Sidebar, go watch that video. But what did you guys think about the gameplay in this part, just while we're here looking at more gameplay?
You want to go first, or Tets?
Well, definitely looked fun, Like I kind of like that it's like a multi-phase boss battle now. It's more involved.
Yeah, for sure. They skipped phases during that gameplay demo, which I felt was quite lengthy to begin with. And you could tell it had obviously been edited down, and it was much longer. And people who played it said it was like a 10 to 15-minute fight, which is
How the armor's been stripped off the feet, like that front leg there.
wow.
But yeah, I think the ability, the pausing whenever you want to and issue commands is great.
Yeah, it's 12. It's kind of 12 style, isn't it? Where you press X and the menu comes up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because that's what they said. They said, like, and when they delivered that gameplay demo at E3, they said you can enter tactical mode, and it was like the more I heard about it from people who played the demo and from people who went to the press event, it's a case of you press X to enter that mode, and it brings up the menu as well.
Right.
So that is exactly what happens in FF12, and I know that obviously the gameplay in this is completely different from Final Fantasy 12, but that is how you enter the menu in both games, and if it has a similar feel, that could be pretty cool.
Right. And then also, like 12, you can go over to one of your other party members, issue a command, but still stay on your main character, and then they'll just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm definitely going to enjoy the action-based style of combat in the game as much as I love the original ATB. I have grown to quite like action-based combat systems, so I'm really looking forward to that, but also being able to go, oh shit, without pressing pause.
Right.
And just hitting X and going, oh no, like my character's about to die, and then press X and just be like, right, take a breath. But the challenge of trying to use the shortcuts as much as possible is going to be fun, I think.
By the way, what were those glowing rods on top of the Scorpion Sentinel? That seems
is that maybe when you stagger it and like cores pop out to cool off or something?
Yeah,
maybe?
Could be something like that.
I think so, yeah. I was going to mention those. It looks like it's pretty late on in the fight, maybe at this stage. Or maybe
because the entire environment is already like messed up from the fight.
So it's like reactor overheating, or maybe those pop out and you have to target them.
Yeah, that's also possible.
So my favorite part, I love this screen of the trailer. Do you guys know why?
Tell us.
So the reason I love this screen so much, and it's a bit of a cheat because you can't hear the trailer right now, But this is where you hear
Uh,
the percussion noise for those who fight, and I'm going to play it. And it might destroy your eardrums, guys.
Yo.
yeah.
That industrial percussion noise is perfect.
Right. It's basically straight out of the old song.
It is so faithful, it's not even funny. I have a friend who she doesn't play Final Fantasy. She does play video games, but she doesn't. She only knows Final Fantasy through me. And I was watching the trailer in work the other day, and she was like, "So I've heard this music before because I work in a lab and I play FF music a lot of time in the lab. So she's familiar. She's now familiar with some FF music." And Those Who Fight is like on every random YouTube playlist out there for like, FF songs or whatever. And that noise she recognized. And she was like, "Oh, that sounds like a new version of that song." And I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the remake." And I kind of explained it to her and she was like, "So are they like redoing the music?" And then I played her like side by side and she was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds so much better." And I was like, "Well, better is objective."
That's a good sign that she recognized it, though.
It's amazing. And I just love that moment. So I love this screen for that very reason, because I was like, this was the moment. I was already nostalgic and like a bit emotional from obviously the pan out and hearing main theme at the start of this trailer, but when it got to here I was like, oh my god. Onto this screen.
I like Wedge's grenade launcher.
Yeah. His pauldron looks good here too. So this is obviously the screen right after the bomb goes off in the first reactor and they escape. They're having a discussion about money and blah 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 blah. It's not obviously verbatim what's said in the original game, but it's still very faithful. What do you guys think about this scene?
Yeah, it seems to follow off the slightly different part in the last trailer where they're marveling, I guess, at the damage. I guess this is when they realized the bomb was bigger than they expected.
Yeah, and we discussed that, didn't we? So
yeah,
Barrett delivers some lines here that are similar to things that he says in Cosmo Canyon in the original game.
Yeah,
talking about the planet. I still love that you can see his eyes through his glasses.
yeah.
All right, here we are again.
That infamous scene.
I don't know if so we did talk about this in the last trailer, but since then we have learned that the black smoky things are called the Guardians of Fate. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Or Watchmen of Fate.
The
I've
Watchmen
seen both
of Fate.
translations.
Yeah. So do we know anything more about that? What are your guys' feelings on that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know what to think about it. Yeah, if it's like some people were talking on the forums, if they're adding a whole fated chosen one element to the game, I don't know about that, but it could just be Sephiroth's flair for the dramatic, and he's calling them that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could be a Genova thing. Could be a reunion thing. It could be an entirely new element, and they've kind of spoken about it like it is. I find myself not minding so much if it is a new element. What I do mind is Aerith, and I spoke about this before, but I really hope they have not flanderized our character. I'm worried about that. And I will say that again and again and again. I'm worried about our character. Because we don't want her to be weak and helpless. And everything they've shown me so far for everything else in the game has really put my mind at rest. All the people that went to the press event put my mind at rest about how it's turning out. But I'm worried about her. So time will tell, I guess.
The interview today sounded like Nomura knew what he was. Let me find the line that he said. He was describing the differences between Aerith and Tifa, and it sounded like he hit the nose on the head.
Well, he should know. Let's be real. Nomura should know.
Yes, he said, Aerith seems like a beautiful but naive girl, while in truth she's extremely strong-willed. Meanwhile, Tifa wears more revealing clothes, so one could think she's confident in herself, but she actually keeps her thoughts bottled up inside and avoids imposing herself.
Yes.
So that sounds like he knows what he's doing,
That's
I guess.
who they are. That is who they are. Okay, so cut to Aerith in battle. She is using what?
Sure looks like Healing Wind to me.
It sure looks like Healing Wind. It's very similar.
Also, first appearance of Tifa in this trailer, right there in the background.
Yes, she is.
No one noticed.
I definitely
Nope,
didn't
I
notice.
didn't.
I wrote the article. I wrote an article on the front page, and it said a bit like some things you may not have noticed from this trailer, and this was one of the things you may not have noticed from this trailer. Oh, also on the top left, you can see one of those, what are these things called? Dean glows or something in the
Yeah.
original game.
Yep. There's also one right next to Aerith that's being drowned out at the moment. But I think in the next couple frames, you see the sides of its wing there.
Oh yeah.
But it's like right on top of her there.
Yeah. So yeah, you can see Tifa here, which is mad because she's not officially been revealed yet, which is funny.
Yeah, this looks like actually Crisis Core's animation of Healing Wind with the flowers that appeared underneath him.
It looks absolutely fantastic though, doesn't it?
And they that's almost certainly in the train graveyard, right? With the,
Yeah.
Yes, I would say so.
the screenshot they released of this is much more detailed. You can see the central pillar in the background,
Ooh.
and the trains look better.
Yeah, you can't see like the underside of the plate. Like if you go a little back, you can't actually see that.
Oh yeah.
I think on the screenshot they released, you can edit it in if you feel like. It's on the left, and it's
right, okay.
all lit up. It looks like the tunnel the train spirals around.
Gotcha. But yeah, the animation for that looks excellent. So cut to Barrett. Regular battle stuff. We've seen some of this for Barrett. This very much looks like Big Shot.
Right? There's Tifa again, which I also didn't see.
Yep.
She's much more obvious in this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's right here. How did nobody notice? These enemies
Yeah,
are
it's
looking...
so funny because I watched the trailer like 10, 15 times before I noticed she was right there.
I never noticed until someone pointed it out, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and I didn't notice those enemies either. It's cool to be seeing the more strange ones.
Yeah, hop on over and watch our enemy analysis video where we cover these little blue floaty guys. I think they have water attacks in the original game.
Yeah, Bubble, I think. Not sure where exactly this is, but somewhere in the reactor, probably.
This looks quite faithful to like
Oh, yeah.
to the original Big Shot. Or this at least looks like the thing that grows at the end of Barrett's gun arm in the original.
Right.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Look how visible Tifa is. Can you believe that we didn't notice?
It does go pretty quick at full speed in our defense, but yeah.
Cut to Cloud, great shot.
Yeah, cross slash incoming.
So one thing I noticed when I was watching this is there is like an intentional freeze frame before each cut.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Ooh, look.
Where the crowd went crazy.
So yeah, I mean, I think we've covered how we feel about Tifa in some other videos. But do you guys want to talk about what you think about Tifa's design here? Because I think she looks excellent. I really like her.
Red eyes are back, baby.
Yes,
Yeah, I think she looks fantastic.
Yeah, same.
she does. And then we've got
Adorable Marlene.
Marlene. Oh, interesting tidbit actually. In the English trailer, Tifa says nothing here. In the Japanese, she says Marlene. And
Oh, she doesn't even say her name. Interesting.
in the English, she says nothing. In Japanese, she says Marlene. Because she's like, Marlene, like, your daddy's here, kind of thing.
There you can see the little skulls in the pleats of Tifa's skirt.
Yeah, like, strange addition.
It's fun. Yeah.
But, you know, it works.
And like Barrett putting Marlene on his shoulder, just like in the original.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least nearly his shoulder.
Yeah, it's very, very similar to the original. It's well done. I don't know if we'd noticed this before. He's got this bolt thing around his wrist, which is like so faithful to the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 pinball machines now.
Yeah.
There's bombs on one of them. On the left.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is the elevator?
If I had to guess, it would be this one because this looks most similar to the one in the original, and also can you see a kind of trapdoor
Yeah.
underneath it?
Also, the bombs are kind of appropriate, you know.
True.
Cloud has a yellow drink.
Yes. Having some Mountain Dew.
Easter egg time. I pointed this out in one of our articles. Let's start with this. This says 7th Heaven 31 start. There's a star. I don't know what else it says. On the refrigerator, we have an image. Can you guess what this image is?
Well, do we all know what it is already?
The three of us definitely do, but for whoever's watching, this is the bar. This is the outside of the bar specifically, like the shot of Sector 7, the original 2D background for Sector 7. Tifa adjusting on the seat. Got some
Right.
drinks there.
She didn't originally sit down with him. She stayed on the other side
She
of the
was
bar.
on the other side of the bar, that's right. And I'm actually surprised they've gone this way, but it totally works. It's fine, eh? There's no issue with that. And there's a chocobo.
Yeah.
And it says Saturday, Sunday, something, something. Station Edge, something, above clouds.
I think how rough the walls are.
Yeah.
Because we're in the slums.
So one of the things I liked here is that Tifa's like quite openly saying she's not comfortable with like what they're doing, and she is the number one character in the original game that kind of speaks up about it, but not at this point. It's much later.
Right.
When she's like, "Oh, what we did and we shouldn't have done that," and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. And there you can see the little bomb charm wrapped around her wrist.
Yes.
The other wrist we know has a chocobo on it, but I don't think you can see it in this scene.
It's kind of weird how static they are, though.
Yeah. Well,
Shouldn't
people have
they
talked
dangle?
about this. Seems like an earlier model, a fairly early model of Tifa here.
Yeah, that's something that's been discussed. Is like she, compared to the other characters, she's not really got the. There's a lot of detail in some of the stuff that she's wearing, but like the way she's modeled is not quite as expressive as some of the other characters. So I think it's probably going to undergo some more polish before final release, if I had to guess.
Yep. Yeah, they're showing off their
Fluid
liquid
animation.
graphics. Yeah. I like here that Cloud clearly can't sit on anything shorter than a bar stool while he's wearing a sword. In the far right corner there, I know
Yeah.
that's the inside shot.
Yeah, so this is the original 2D background of the original 7th Heaven, which is really cool. And we've got an old school TV here, which is really cool because it's evocative of
yeah.
the era. We have
Yeah, I like the really industrial light bulbs too.
yes, we have the flower, and at this point, it's been confirmed that dialogue choices are in the game. So we may or may not have an option to purchase the flower.
Give it to either Tifa or Marlene.
Yeah, we did see in the previous trailer there was like a "here, this is for you," but like we don't actually know if that's after a dialogue choice or if it's scripted to happen that way.
Eggs and chips and pizza.
Eggs and chips and pizza.
Why eggs and chips of all things?
I don't know.
Like,
but I really love the playful font.
There's a menu up here as well. There's a menu and it says dessert and drinks and hot and cold drinks, and you know it's a fully kitted out bar. It feels so real now. But eggs and chips is a bit random, eh? Like for a sign.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense to have it on the menu, but to make like a glowy neon sign of it is like, hey, we've got eggs and chips. Like, okay, cool. Also, there should be like a Route 66 sign on the left somewhere.
Yes, it's here, but it's right there. It says Route 66.
Kind of like that, keeping the tradition of having like random references to real life locations, like the Texas sign in the original.
Mm-hmm. There's It'll be interesting to see if it says Texas outside.
It looks like there's a license plate in the top left as well, or something.
Yeah.
This is where she says, "I feel trapped." Those eyes are phenomenal.
I know.
I'm actually so shocked that they went with red for our eyes, like the original. I'm so happy they did.
Especially, I guess they went for brown and like Advent Children and stuff because I assume it's probably kind of challenging to give somebody like red eyes and not have it look like demonic in a way,
Yeah.
Right, or differentiate her still from Vincent. But I think there's room for them to go redder for Vincent if they want.
Yeah, they could go like a
Right.
violet red for Vincent, couldn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and in the Japanese here she says pinchy, which is a reference to, in the original game, got translated as in a bind. So she's referencing the promise that Cloud
Oh,
made.
wow.
Now, people were worried, that the dub is changing that. They could also just change the words of how the promise is said. Maybe she says, "If I'm ever trapped" or something.
Ah,
Right.
yeah. That's a good theory. I like that. One of the things that I am looking forward to is to obviously see that promise scene again.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to do it now, like in this
Right.
part.
It'll be our one look outside Midgar.
Exactly. So it's
True.
like, are they going to show us Nibelheim? Are they going to show us like maybe it'll just be a CG movie version of it? Maybe they'll
Yeah.
have the
I mean, it
CG
doesn't have to
department do it.
pan around. The original shot was just looking at the top of the. Like, most of the original shot was the sky, right?
Yeah, we don't. Obviously, they don't have to render the whole town, but I'm really looking forward to seeing that moment or seeing what they do with that moment because they will at least have a conversation about it if they don't show us.
Right. Second bombing mission time.
Yeah, this is very clearly the second bombing mission because we have Tifa.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is clearly after things have gone off. Well, pardon the pun. Things have gone off the rails when they get detected by the ID check.
Yeah, well, I wonder if like, because there's no battles on the train in the original, so I wonder if they're
Yeah.
like, if this happens automatically or if you can like run down the train to try and beat the checkpoints.
I love how he uses the flat of the blade to throw it off. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Barrett saves him here.
And then you can
Also,
see
like
Tifa.
this
Tifa
Tifa
looks
in the
like Tifa-
background.
Yeah, she's getting passengers off the car, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Barrett's
looks
gun
like
looks
she's-
so cool.
It does. It does. Do you guys want to talk about that for a sec? Because are these cartridges and are they loaded in or something? I don't know. American, tell me how guns work.
Yeah.
Because I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they could be. We'll see if they actually establish where Barrett's bullets come from.
I've decided that because you're American, you must be an expert at people in cyberpunk games that graft guns onto
Yes.
their lost arms. No, I'm joking. Yeah, as dog tags as well. I think there's a certain point in his actually in his render you can read what they say on them, and it's got his name and some other stuff.
Yeah, it actually
Yeah.
says that he's the leader of Avalanche on the dog tag, which doesn't seem very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, people on the forums are talking about maybe if there are multiple cells of Avalanche, but that's a big assumption. I don't know.
She says my turn. She looks really cool.
It's also got another big cheer.
Yes. I love
You
how
can see
she
yellow, and she has a yellow materia equipped.
Yeah,
On
it's
her
also
wrist.
Yeah.
different gloves, right?
yellow materia.
And it looks like a linked slot too.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
sounds-
right.
it is a linked slot. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
What do you mean when you say different gloves?
I think aren't those different
From
from
When
before?
she's holding the drink.
Yeah,
they do.
I
Oh,
think-
they do. The detail looks different. You're right.
because she has like these red like platings on the gloves in the previous scene, and here it's like different. It's like all black with like silver highlights and shit.
So, do you think because this is a cutscene, right?
Yeah.
It's not CG, but this is definitely a cutscene. And the previous shot was also a cutscene. But do you think we're seeing like different weapons in cutscenes?
I do think so, actually.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. When you consider that Tifa's original weapon does not have linked slots.
Yeah, it's true.
So this suggests to me that they have some content between Sector 7 and the second bombing mission.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a good place to put some extra stuff, because if you have them like lying low for a couple days between the two bombings.
Yeah, for sure. But Tets, you're right, and I didn't notice that. So this is maybe another weapon for Tifa.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because yellow materia.
Yeah, I know. I'm so because the weapons seem to come with their own weapon skills, so it will be interesting to see what yellow materia do different from that.
Yes.
True.
Look at the detail on that thing.
Oh yeah, the way the arms are articulated.
That's insane. Goodbye. And then she hits the emergency stop button, I assume.
Yeah, so I guess maybe they don't jump out of it at full speed.
Yeah.
Sensible choice. I
Yes.
approve of it.
And now we cut to what I assume is some gameplay from the second bombing mission.
Right. Cloud does some sort of like teleporting triple slash here.
So I read about this, and basically he's got two major weapon skill slash ATB moves in the closed demo that they had, and one of them is braver and the other one is this, and it's called triple slash or something.
Okay.
And it's basically like you would use this one if you're fighting more than one enemy. So braver does a good amount of damage, like single target, and it will hit anything else that's in the way as well, but it doesn't have much of a range. In this one, he warps to like the three enemies and does damage.
You know, at first I thought this might be his Sonic Blade skill from Kingdom Hearts. Because it's like different. I mean, it's similar, and you know that he just kind of like zooms across the battlefield and shit.
Something else
Would be
as
like
well.
a nice call out,
Yeah.
shout out rather.
Yeah, for sure. Something else as well is that he has, like, the characters all have two stances, which is something
Right.
that they didn't discuss, but it's been noted by people who saw the press demo. Essentially, there's like a Punisher mode and I forget what the other one's called.
Operator.
Operator and Punisher, and they can flip between these two stances.
Yeah, it is.
It brings so many dynamics to the gameplay because you've got the materia system confirmed. We've seen some linked slots, and really hoping that, all of that's still in there, all of that kind of pre-battle strategy, because that was always exciting to me in the original. And then you've got the two stances, the switching between characters, the building ATB, using tactical mode. Like, it's going to be so dynamic. It looks so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to get a playable demo, like a public one, after E3 or at E3 or something. And I was like, I'm okay. I made my peace with that. But then after hearing all that stuff, I really want them to release a demo.
Yes.
Yeah,
I want to try
absolutely.
this combat.
I would play the shit out of it. I would actually, I would download it and I'd probably play it like 40 times.
Yeah, me too.
Tifa gameplay.
Yep, another cheer time. Oh, I love that
Yeah.
double kick. I didn't even really notice that. That looks cool in frame by frame.
It's amazing. And the way our hair whips round as well.
Yeah, Omni Punch.
And then bash.
Yeah, I really like her moves.
Bash is a launch move, apparently. And then
Yeah.
she does a spinning thing.
Yeah, Shoryuken.
Shoryuken. Look at that. That's
Yeah, she does it
insane.
again against the Sahagin too. Oh, that looks so cool.
Over at these guys, and we covered these guys in the last video, so we're not going to talk too much about them.
Yep.
Love this shot because you've got Cloud, Tifa, Aerith all in one shot.
Yep.
Yeah, we see her staff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we've
And that-
seen that before.
We should look for.
She was holding it in the apps reveal for the State of Play trailer,
yeah,
but she
right.
didn't really. You couldn't see it. I only saw it when Lex and I did our analysis.
Yeah.
Just remembered we totally did see gameplay with her before, even in this trailer. So
Right.
It's amazing
But
what
is
you notice when you're going frame by frame.
yeah, I mean here you kind of see it in more detail, I guess, in the cutscene.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seeing them all take their battle stance. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to get rid of armor.
You mean as an equipable thing?
Yeah, like armor and materia slots in armor. Like, I don't know if. I don't know
It's
how
a good
I feel
question.
about it one way or another, because they could just limit you to a weapon and all the materia slots that has.
That could really limit you.
but we haven't seen any armor. And it feels like they've gone to great lengths to show you. Look at her eyes, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think Ite posted just the gif of her nodding and turning like this, and it was so mesmerizing.
It is. I'm looking for materia slots in this rod, though.
Is that one right there? Maybe, I don't know.
That could be an empty slot.
Right. Yeah, it seems like they're sending her off to do something. I know people were, because she looks determined when she says okay.
Look at the detail on those guys. Like you can see like all the tiny teeth in their mouths.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little bit creepy.
Yeah, they still look goofy, but they're also rather frightening.
Terrifying, yeah. So you get Cloud and Tifa kicking some ass.
Yep, Tifa does a little beat rush here. I don't know that it's supposed to be that, but that's
I'm wondering where they're. See, now that I'm looking at this, what we're looking at.
Oh, is this the exit to
This is the exit to the train graveyard.
Yeah, I mean they could be sending her ahead to warn people. Maybe they
Yeah.
don't, in case they think there will be an endless supply of Sahagin.
They may have discussed the Marlene thing at this stage, and they're like, go, 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 go.
Oh yeah, that's a good thought.
Because when I first saw this trailer, I was like, why are they sending her away at this point?
Yeah.
But it would make sense if they'd been like, maybe they come out here, maybe they go in and out of the sewers on their way back to Sector 7.
Yeah, and in the screenshots they released, you see Aerith fighting Sahagin. So it's clearly earlier in the sewers she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this the 3 punches here.
Yeah.
And then the uppercut.
Smash.
Yeah, I like the shot. It's so good.
Fantastic.
And I love this back-to-back moment. It's so fan servicey, and I love it.
It's massively fan servicey.
Power couple right there.
And I am here for it.
When they did this, I was like,
it's currently my computer background.
more kicking ass.
Also, that one Sahagin is down on its knees.
Oh yeah, stagger maybe.
Good call.
There's our Shoryuken again.
Yes.
Nice.
Wailing on this guy.
Poor Sahagin doesn't stand a chance.
Probably just wanted to defend his home from invaders.
He's just like,
'Cause, you know,
intruders.
They have like weapons and stuff. They seem to have some intelligence. Maybe they have a civilization. No, these guys are just coming down there like, oh yeah, we're gonna kill you guys. Like, dude, this is my home. Fuck off.
For the Sahagin King. So,
Shinra HQ.
Looks so good.
Shinra headquarters.
It's nice they have finally escalators right there.
Yes.
Yes.
To save you all the
Very
walking.
accessible. And presumably they're showing us the final dungeon here.
They had the
Most likely.
escalators in Crisis Core, didn't they? Or did they?
I don't
Can't
remember.
remember
Can't
actually.
remember either. I thought they did, but I could be wrong. So yeah, this is
And-
the foyer.
And
Yes.
right there in the back, we can see that truck.
Yes, it's the truck.
Uh-huh.
It's the truck.
I wonder if they're still going to drive it through that, because that sign looks more like a screen now.
It does, and they could very easily drive through that, and it'd be very pretty. Yeah, is this like a hologram, or is it like a flat screen? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, so he runs through. Ooh.
Teasing us right there.
And it's the tree.
This is the 60th floor
Yes.
or 61st floor.
Or is it
No,
59th?
60th, I think. I think 59th is where you come out of the stairs and it's just those 2 troops, and then you go up one floor.
So this is the 60th or the 61st.
I feel like I should know this because I just played this yesterday.
So did I, like recently, not yesterday, but recently I've played it as well. But it's difficult to remember what each floor has. Like,
Yeah.
It's also interesting because This tree is actually inside this weird like tube thing. You think
Yeah.
it's like because I always imagine it might be like a fake tree in the original, but here it seems like it might actually be a real tree, and they're having like all this technology to actually keep it growing and keep it alive because it's Midgar, and
Right.
normally shit doesn't grow here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's just so nice. Like it's quite faithful to the original, but like except it looks like it's behind glass, like you were mentioning, and it wasn't in the original. But this is a very recognizable place because this is the first like executive floor you set foot on,
Yeah,
where you kind of walk around and talk to people.
it does look a little bit like less cozy. It's a little darker here.
I think this is the
Yeah.
61st floor
Okay.
because floor 59 is the one where you beat up the guards, and floor 60 is the one where you do that little mini game where you hide behind the things.
Oh right, the stealth one.
Oh, right. I forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm. That's such
Again,
a
I just
random...
played this yesterday and I forgot. Like how?
Yeah, same. So I think this is floor 61 then, unless that was floor 61, but whatever. Moving on.
Yeah. This seems like the 67th floor, right? Where like maybe where the meeting is.
Good
Could be, I
call.
don't know.
Could be.
Is the meeting not on floor 65?
Whatever. I don't know. One of them.
Top FF7 fans right here.
Well,
This is so
70th is the office. 69 is where is the Hojo floor. Well, the first, like where Aerith and Red are in the tube together.
I'm looking this shit up, guys.
No, 69 is right underneath the presidential office. Like there's
Right.
just
Yes,
like,
you're right. So
like a
68
reception
is
area almost.
right. So
So
68 is where
68,
Aerith,
67 is the Hojo lab thing.
right.
And
So
the
66 would be the meeting room.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Floor 66 is your meeting room, yeah. 65 is the one with the Midgar parts in it.
Right.
Okay.
And so that means the other one is the one where you crawl around in the
Yeah. And
door
vents.
puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like seeing all these office workers, just doing their jobs.
What
Yeah.
what floor do we think this is?
I think it's 66 because I mean there are offices around the central meeting room.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
I think so too.
It could be 66. It definitely looks like it could be 66, but it looks a bit darker. So it could
Yeah.
also be 67, like Hojo's.
Yeah, there were a couple offices. There was like one room of offices, if I
Mhm.
recall correctly.
Like
on that
research
one.
rooms, but this looks a bit more officey.
Yeah, and the manager like standing over someone there.
It's weird to me that nobody's reacting to Cloud, but I guess soldier.
Yeah, he's dressed like a
He's
soldier, I
dressed
guess.
like a soldier, and maybe they wouldn't react to someone running around the office. It's definitely got two Materia here though, which is nice.
Yeah. Although presumably Barrett and Tifa are with him, but maybe not. I don't know. Where is he jumping from?
This must be the moment of attack, or it's in mid-battle.
See,
Do you
and
think
here
he's
his-
still gonna do his tsunami attack? How's this gonna work out?
and his horns aren't glowing now. So I wonder if that's like he uses a charge of them or something.
That could be. There's some Aerith attacks, by the way, with that orb thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like this guarding on the ground too.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Similar to the Scorpion Sentinel's cores popping out. Maybe that's when his stuff starts to glow, is when it gets, maybe there's a Hulk smash you and like maybe in a angry
And
moment,
she has a
boss.
different staff here. I just noticed that.
Oh, you're right.
You are right. Ooh.
Also, she's got a different stance. That's called Tempest.
Right, or is that what this big electric-y thing is?
So in the screenshots, you can see she has an attack called Gaia's Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
People are like getting to feel some kind of way about that. Because they're like, oh, summons confirmed, and it's like, well, no, because Aerith is like your stereotypical geomancer.
Right.
And it would make sense to me if she had an earth attack that was magical called Gaia's Wrath.
Right. She also appears to be in the status effect, or the sadness status effect.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
His licks did put sadness in the original.
yeah. That's a really neat detail. So status effects confirmed.
And now
Basically.
Cloud is sad.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
all three of them have it. I think. I think it it must just kind of fade out when they're not the focused character.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, it could be. I like that forward lunge attack.
Yes.
Yeah, his combo here seems a little different in general.
That tongue is ridiculous. Come on.
Yeah.
I love his eyes though. Yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Here
I
we
love
go.
this martial arts pose for the limit break. Oh yeah, she has a green materia now linked with that yellow one. Or at least next to it.
So she does. Try to find a decent frame, but it's quite blurry. Yeah, you can see the green and the yellow.
Also confirmation, they do indeed all have the sadness status effect.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like Cloud doesn't have it in this one actually.
Yeah, Cloud lost it.
Oh, someone's cured him, huh?
You can see the green and yellow materia a bit more clearly here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love the pose to start off the limit break.
Yeah. I love that they all have lines as well. When you switch to them, they say stuff, and when they're doing a limit break, they say stuff. Somersault.
But like Abs really reacts like as though he was kicked up. I wonder
Smashed,
if
yeah.
that's always
Yeah.
going to be that, representative.
Let's hope so. And we flip straight to
Airbuster.
Airbuster. So, looking really cool.
Yeah.
Remember when we saw him first a couple years ago in like an off-screen kind of image?
Yes. I'll edit
Yeah,
that in.
it was a hiring ad, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, madness. Like, I've still got those screenshots hidden away somewhere. I've just noticed that these lights look exactly like the Midgar lights, the floodlights.
Oh yeah. The weird rotating things in the middle are interesting. You especially see them more when they're beating up on him and they're getting all cockeyed.
Yeah, those are his gears for turning.
Oh yeah.
Somebody pointed this out to me and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's how he turns." And I was like, "Oh,
Huh.
Because you could break that in the game, and then
Yeah.
it couldn't turn anymore.
So like their theory is that this bit, like the bottom part, will be static and he'll twist using these gears. And you can see the hard edge for the first time here.
Yeah. Even though he has the Buster Sword in the Shinra building, so
Yeah,
who knows?
you can't get the hard edge until the Shinra building, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got Airbuster in the sky and our three heroes on the infamous walkway. I love this shot so much. So you can actually see the kanji here on the hard edge, like the original.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
It's similar. It's very similar to the original design, except it's a lot. The sword is a lot larger.
It's a lot bigger.
It's a
And
lot
did
bigger.
it
and
flare
longer
out
at the edge.
originally?
It does, but it's more of a straight line from the base to the edge of the sword,
Yeah.
rather than it doesn't kind of carve out the same way this does. But one theory was someone said that all the swords are the same size because it's the easiest thing for them to do from an animation perspective. Like if they're going to have their swords, their weapons in cutscenes, they're all going to be like roughly the same length. Like they can have a
Right.
different shape, but in terms of the
So that
bulk,
the choreography doesn't look off.
yeah, because one of the things is the Buster Sword is like the longest sword probably in the game, like one of the longest swords in the game. Aside from like the Yoshiyuki or some of the like much longer ones, but the Buster Sword is quite long and the hard edge is quite short compared to the Buster Sword in the original game. But somebody was basically like they're probably going to make them all the same size to make it a bit easier on the animators and stuff, so they don't have to worry about clipping so much,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Now he's doing his, what's that attack called?
Was it Big Bomber or something?
Big Bomber.
Or just Bomber?
Look at that. So get Cloud here doing a whoosh whoosh.
Also, we got a timer on top.
Right, yeah, so
Yeah.
we're confirmed in the second reactor mission and we have a timer. Another 20-minute timer. It never made sense to me in the original game that there wasn't a timer after they set the bomb.
Yeah.
And I've never
happy they
quite
added
been
that.
able to decide if they actually blew up the second reactor, because they never talk about it.
Yeah.
They only ever talk about the first one. Like, so did Shinra disarm it?
Mm-hmm.
But there was an explosion, though.
There was an explosion, yeah. But I guess it's just... I mean, I know Jesse also probably tried to make the bomb weaker because the first one was too strong.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been quite clear on it because no one ever mentions the Sector 5 reactor again.
That's a good point. I think they blow up they do blow up the second reactor, but it doesn't do any damage to the surrounding area. Because they set a timer up the same way as they set up the first one. And yet there's no
Right.
timer in the
Yeah.
original game. And it is strange that they never talk about that one.
Yep. He's clearly in Punisher mode that time.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tifa's moves here. Unbridled strength and axe kick. I get what axe kick does. I don't know what unbridled strength would be.
And she has ice magic as well.
So apparently this uses up like an ATB bar and magic points.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Oh yeah, I didn't notice the ATB bar like going out. Yeah, I assume that's axe kick, that down, but maybe not. It didn't light up.
It didn't.
Also, I like this. Like, we can actually, in the other shot, like, we can see down the gap between the plates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's
And the
insane.
Shinra building, very well framed in the background there.
Yes. Nice.
Like, that's one of the things that excites me. Like, just because we have a camera that we can freely control. Now you get like all these different angles that you didn't get in the original game.
Oh, for sure. You can look around and see all this.
I know.
I'm
So much of
excited
this game,
for
I
that.
think, is just going to be just standing around, moving.
I'm gonna stream it, and I'll preface the stream like on day one, and I'll be like, right, guys, if you're joining the stream, you just need to be prepared for like me just standing here and just being like, oh my god, look at that, oh my god. So draw attention to Cloud Sword because, and I pointed this out.
Mm.
This is the best shot I can get of this. Because I did come into this trailer and frame by frame this part specifically for this shot. But he has 3 materia slots. Quite clearly a green materia that is linked with this slot.
Right.
And then
did someone find there was a purple materia?
it looks like there's a purple materia here, but it's a little bit faint. This looks like purple materia for sure. Because it's not going to be a trick of the light on that one slot. Do you know what I mean? It's
Right.
very clearly purple. When you blow it up, it's a little bit more obvious. This could also be like the blue support materia, but there's no real way to confirm that because it looks like it could be an empty slot as well.
Right.
But the hard edge typically has 4 slots. In the original
Yes.
game, it has 2 linked slots and 2 independent slots. And one of the things I theorized was that like you can visibly see that these 2 slots are linked and that this one is independent. There may be another materia slot on the other side of the sword.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was one of the things I was thinking. I don't know.
And this crazy airbuster laser attack.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
mad.
he's going full bullet hell.
I think every boss fight in this game is going to be an absolute spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just noticed he actually has like these additional rocket boosters now underneath the like the hover disc thing.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't there before.
Right. This is a ranged portion where you have to use Barret.
Yeah.
Or magic, I guess.
Although he was floating in the original game. So I guess it makes more sense now. He's got those jetpacks to float with. Reaching this part where we're in an alleyway. Do we want to theorize about where this is?
Yeah,
This
I don't
looks to
know.
me like it's just a random street in Midgar.
It could be Sector 8 after the explosion of the first one. Maybe after this, he's kind of wandering, and that's why Aerith asks, "Are you all right?"
Yeah, it could be. One of the things I was saying was, I've been watching a lot of reaction videos. Just as an aside, I've been watching a lot of reaction videos of this trailer, and almost nobody catches Cloud saying, "You're not real," which is the first thing.
Right.
That's the first thing that he says, and everybody misses it because they see the back of Sephiroth's head and they go, "Sephiroth!" And like, nobody hears
Yeah.
him saying, "You're not real." And like,
Right. I
they
did hear it the
panic.
first time, and I was glad to hear that they, he's hallucinating.
Yeah, preface it with the fact that he's hallucinating and I'm cool, but like, I wish people would notice that. But anyway, those slits for eyes are creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
He looks like a freako right here.
Oh, he does.
I like the kind of Celtic designs on his armor there.
Yeah.
I did not
Definitely.
notice that until you pointed it out. Wow. That's
They kind of
neat.
changed it because in that first artwork that we saw of him, like the shoulder pads looked a little more like Amano design, like Dissidia almost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I did notice that. It definitely feels very Nomura in design. He has
Mhm.
these strands of hair coming down the front of his face, which I feel are new. No?
Yeah. You. Mhm.
I think it
you
just
like
has
them or
more.
don't? I didn't hear.
I know I do like them. I think it just
Okay.
it has more detailed hair than he's ever had before, and it really shows. Like, as much as like I covered in the previous trailer analysis that like I don't quite feel right about seeing Sephiroth at all.
Mhm.
Now that it's confirmed that the first part of the game is Midgar, I'm a bit more open to seeing him once or twice in this manner only.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can forgive the fact that we see him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, because if they went by the original story, then we wouldn't see him at all.
Yeah.
And he's the main villain of Final Fantasy VII, so it kind of makes sense to have like at least a little glimpse of him.
Yeah, I mean we're in Cloud's mind after all, and like this is Genova, so it's Genova and it's Cloud's memories and it's Cloud's head being fucked up, and that's part of the story. It's important.
Yeah, I do like the idea of Cloud being like really tortured through this section because he doesn't really ever seem to have much of a problem until you see Genova in the Shinra building. Oh,
Yeah.
and I guess in the reactors.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's it. Like this, and this is one of these moments in the original game where the screen just flashes and Cloud touches his head.
Right.
Except now they're adding this extreme detail to it, which is fine by me because it adds a lot of exposition that the original just didn't really have. Like, and it didn't need it, but I think it's fine that they're doing this. I'm quite happy with it. Now I've come to terms.
Yeah, same here.
And I love the way Sephiroth looks as well.
He's so creepy.
I'm not one of the people that is like a massive Sephiroth fanboy. I just love the way he looks here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, his eyes are like super freakish.
Mm-hmm. The lighting effects are fantastic.
I know. It's
One of the things I like about this scene is that like this fire is not really here. It's all in Cloud's head.
yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers of 1 second from now in real time.
So the thing that Sephiroth says here, we haven't really dove like deeply into what the characters say, but it says you have to lead, you have to live. Is that what he's saying?
You have to leave, you have to live.
You have to leave,
Yes.
not lead.
Yeah, I think it's leave.
Okay.
Because does he say run away or you have to leave, you have to live?
Yeah.
And he has one. I mean, you can't really go by the materia, but he does have one again, which could be which would also support right after the first bombing.
Yeah. He does a, what do we call this, braver?
He's going for a killing blow, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Bisect him.
Is he mid disappearance right now?
I think he smirks first, right?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, creepy.
I know.
Maximum creep factor.
Yeah, I didn't go through this frame by frame before. That's awful.
Oh, fantastic.
And all the fire disappears.
And all the fire is gone.
Because I've seen some people
But I like how the
suggest that-
embers kind of remain for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some people suggest that Cloud is having flashbacks to Nibelheim, but it's like it's kind of clear that this is not Nibelheim, this is in Midgar, and the flames are just kind of part of the illusion.
Yeah,
Right.
the flames are part of the illusion and Cloud's memory of Nibelheim burning.
I remember the intense heat of the flames.
Mm-hmm.
He said.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what that is. It all just appears like when he has these things, he remembers all of it for like split
Right.
seconds, but can't connect and sees all that, which is great and fine.
And then there, Sephiroth says, "Hold on to that hatred," which
Yes.
plays into the whole how he's technically summoning him when he doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. And this is the last shot of the trailer. It's just Cloud being a messed up mind in the alleyway.
Yeah.
What a way to end. And then we've got our logo.
It's going to be a long, 7 months, 8 months?
At least it's not a year or longer. We
That's
have
true.
that. That's great. That's a great thing to have. To be able to say, we'll be able to play the first part of the Final Fantasy remake. We'll be returning to these characters in less than a year on March 3rd, 2020, which is just so exciting.
You know, it's going to be brutal though once you get to the end of the game. You know, like you get to
When
the
you see the horizon.
yeah, you get to the edge of Midgar. You look out to the horizon, like the sun is just about to come out, and it's like, yep, to be continued.
In
Gotta
fact,
wait another 3 years or so. It's going to be rough.
it will
Yep.
be rough, but at least we will have this. If nothing else, we will have this.
To play over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
It does make preparing for it easy because you'd only have to play the first couple hours of the original game.
Thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure. We have lots and lots of videos coming up for you, most of them directly related to this trailer. Playthroughs, some other content, so keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Bye bye.